Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Now, one of the many lies that promoters feed the public is that the amount of quality you get in your boxing is directly proportional to the amount of money that you plug in. Now, this is patent nonsense. It's a barefaced lie, because you can go to a small hall show and you can see some bad fights, but you might also see some fantastic fights, and you sit in ringside for, I don't know, 60, 70 quid. You can pay hundreds, go to a big event, and yeah, you might see a classic, but on the other hand, you might see very, very poor fights. So this lie, bearing this in mind, this is something that promoters peddle because they want to ultimately squeeze the financial rag dry. They want to take the public and get as much as they can out of them, because regardless of what any promoter says, they care about the money they're making. They do not care specifically or primarily about the public. And even when you're offering lower level quality, you've still got to create the illusion that you are giving the public value for money, even if their eyes tell them differently. One way to do this is through pay-per-view. If you want to see the best fights, you have to pay for pay-per-view. The elite few fighters at the top are astronomically well paid. They are paid in millions, tens of millions in some cases. Most boxers barely scrape a living, from British title level down, maybe. So people have said to me, because of the videos I've made in the past when I've mentioned pay-per-view, I haven't bought a pay-per-view, as I've said many times before, since the second Holyfield-Tyson fight. That was the last one. I just said, no, enough's enough. You pay for your TV license, you pay for your Sky, which at the time I did have Sky. You might pay for Sky Sports, and you pay on top, you pay pay-per-view. No, enough's enough, enough's enough. I've got a little bit of dignity, and I don't have a bottomless wallet. So no, I'm not doing it anymore. So for the last, 27 years, I've never bought a pay-per-view. What I do is I'm stream team all the way, unapologetically so. And I don't subscribe to the idea that I'm taking money out of fighters' pockets. On the contrary, I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds plugging money into British boxing by going to live events, small hall shows predominantly, one or two big live events when I fancy it. But, it takes a lot to make me cry. If you think I'm going to be shedding tears over taking a few quid out of promoters' pockets, you are sorely mistaken. Now, with regard to pay-per-view, I think it bears looking at the undercards, and that can tell you how toxic the whole concept of pay-per-view is, because the more money that gets plugged in and goes to the top few, I guess you'd say the headliners, the less money there is for the people underneath, and as a result, the quality of the undercards suffers. So let's go through a few recent undercards. We'll start with the obvious one, which is Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte, an absolutely non-existent undercard. Tyson Fury against Derek Chisora, again, a very poor undercard. Okay. If you want to push aside pay-per-view and just talk about main eventers that are free-to-air television, there was a Sky Sports boxer card on, headlined by Lawrence Okoli, who's apparently going to be the face of Sky Boxing. I don't think so, but that's a video for another time. Very, very weak card, very weak undercard, terrible main event as well. It's like watching Girders rust. Terrible stuff. The Okoli fight, that was Okoli and David Light. Very, very poor. But the undercard was terrible as well. And if you look at the upcoming Jermaine Franklin-Anthony Joshua fight, the undercard is weak, okay? So we have to ask ourselves, why is this? And that is because, unlike the concept of trickle-down economics, where this absurd, idiotic, and bizarre idea that, you give fat, gluttonous people even more food in the hope that they'll throw a few crumbs off the banquet table, trickle-down economics. Actually, the reverse is true of what's happening. Because the longer this goes on, the longer you give money for ever-increasing amounts of money that go to the top few fighters, there'll be less trickling down, less money left, effectively, for undercards, for other fighters. So the quality will suffer. The quality of the overall card will suffer. And again, I'm not just talking about pay-per-view. I keep mentioning pay-per-view because I hate it so much. But even free-to-air cards, like the couple I mentioned, you know, this is what will happen. And you've got a choice. You can either accept this, or you can say, no, I'm not gonna buy this pay-per-view, or I'm not going to subscribe to this channel if that's the quality that you're giving. Stream team all the way. That's me. And I strongly advise anyone who's got a decent desktop computer and can watch, I would recommend an iMac, by the way, and who can watch, you know, streaming reliably, to go down that route. Because if you don't, if you allow this to carry on, then more and more money will get siphoned upwards into the top few, and the quality of what's below, immediately below, will continue to suffer. That's what's going to happen. And the only way that DAZN, for example, can get more subscribers, or Sky Sports can get more subscribers, is to offer quality. What you've got to say is, we want quality. And if we don't get it, we're going to find other ways to watch these cards. If you just sit there moaning, complaining about the lack of the ever-decreasing quality of the fights, nothing changes. Why would it change? You've got to put pressure on these promoters, and you've got to say, if you don't give us quality, don't think you're kicking us out of boxing. You don't own boxing. We're the fans. We're the people that, again, spend the money going to small hall shows, to live events and so on and so forth. You don't get to kick us out of boxing. What we're going to do is we're going to use other means to look at your product, because your product is subpar, and it might be the only box in there. So we'll take a look at it. You know, Christ, I even managed to watch Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. Do you think I gave a damn about that fight? No, but I watched it because I'm a boxing junkie. So what you say is, we'll watch your product. If you want us to pay for it, if you want us to actually put our hands in our pockets, you better keep the quality up. Otherwise, we've got other options. Stream team all the way. So that's just a few thoughts on the quality of fights on boxing. Tell me what you think. You may have a different opinion to me. That's fine. I don't mind. As long as we all keep it respectful, you can disagree. That's fine. I ain't going to delete your comments or any of that stuff. I'm not that much of a child. But let me know what you think. Comments below, as always. Thank you for subscribing. Have a think about what I said. See where you stand. Like the video, that could help us out. We want to build the channel up, so if you're new, please subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. And in the meantime, I'm looking forward to reading your comments. See you soon. Bye for now.